Bartail has been one of the persons who's watched all the shows. I talk to him on a regular basis in the EverQuest Next IRC channel.
What we saw with, Kunark for EQ2, you did those 400 quests, you did all the content, and at the end of it, the world wasn't changed.
Yeah, I'm Phantom X. I do social media and write articles for EQ Nexus.
For the Fall of Bastion, there was a very definite, okay, this is where your story is going to fit into the world.
Listen, fluffy looking bear. Thank you. Listen, I went and I killed a dragon, and then 2 drops of whiskey hit my face, and I willed this manly beard into Cal was raising. Yes.
Hello and welcome to EverCast episode number 58, which we have titled Large and in Charge. EverCast is a Landmark and EverQuest Next podcast, connecting gamers with the game they play. I am one of your normal hosts, Hanley. With me are our other 2 normal hosts. I got Lucy on this side and Flatus over on that side. And we are coming at you live from twitch.tv. What is it? /EverCast_show. It's an URL. If you search on Twitch for EverCast show, you'll find us. We're the only ones, as far as I know.
What's up?
Hi guys, how are you doing this evening?
I'm okay. I'm drinking Game of Thrones 3-Eyed Raven Dark Saison Ale. It's so good.
I have my normal flavored water in a plastic cup. I don't know why we do. It was like everybody else has this really new and interesting drink that they're trying out. Meanwhile, I'm like, yep, flavored water in a plastic cup.
It works.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you again for joining us this Sunday evening. It's going to be a quick show. As you can tell, we have no Caeleste with us this evening. We're going to wrap it up in probably right around an hour. I don't know if we'll go longer than that or not. Depends on how we feel about it at the end of an hour. The other little ECast news is it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I love throwing out, like, my mom, she'll take screenshots of the work that she does in Landmark and she'll share them with me, but she doesn't use Twitter. So, like, one of my favorite things with my mom is to tweet out the things that she does in Landmark, because she's a much better builder than I am. We talk about all the time, like, I'm not a good Landmark builder because I just don't feel like I've got an eye for design and textures and layers and I don't know, subtle differences in colors. It's just all completely lost on me, but my mom's one of those artistic people that gets it.
I think it would be awesome if she actually printed out the screenshots and handed them to you. That would like make my... In fact, I'm just going to pretend that that's what she does. Don't tell me
That's what
differently.
she does. I get it in the mail and I open up a letter. It's another printout of what she's been working on.
With newspaper clippings of articles that she thought you would find important. Does anybody else's grandmother/mother do that? Because
my
mine
mom
totally do.
My mom emails me pictures of her dog. Like, just, he's on the couch. He's like, look what he's doing. He's cute. He's saying hi. I was like, all right. Then he's like over by his food dish. I'm like, that dog's probably like, what? I'm trying to eat. Why are you taking pictures of it? And I'm just like, that poor dog. He's probably not eating in like 20 minutes. Just sitting there. She's like, I have pictures. Sonny, look at me. My mom's dog's name is Sunny.
Yeah, my mom's a bit of a gamer, so she knows. I'd like to think that she's... I've actually said it on the show. My I use my parents as the gauge to determine whether or not a system in a game is too difficult or too simple. Not even too simple, but if it is easy enough for my parents to understand, I'm like, nobody should have a problem understanding the system. Like, if my parents get it, anybody can get it.
But you have issues building. Your mom's great at it.
Which means that I shouldn't. I should not have issues building, but I do. I tried again, like I tweeted out what I was working on, and I'm really trying to work on those layerings and textures and using different materials and trying to create like it's a huge brick wall of a castle, and I don't want it to look like monotone, like all one color, because it looks really boring and simple, and I want to add to it. So I tried to break it up a little bit, and as an example, like when I was building beforehand, I was only making my walls 1 voxel thick because, hey, it's a wall. It only needs to be 1 voxel thick. And I didn't like the way that it made the castle look because all of the walls looked really thin. So this time they're 4 voxels thick. And I can layer them differently because they're I can make the second layer of the wall a different texture. And so if I do a cutout, it's like that under texture pops out. And it's like, oh, hey, I learned something new.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you quick shout out to your guys' moms, otherwise we can move on.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
I don't think my mom watches.
My mom doesn't.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
I'll just show her this one part. Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. She'll be like, ah! And she'll never watch after that.
I think my mom and dad used to watch the show. I'm pretty sure that they got busy, and that's why they're not here tonight. Okay, other bit of ECast news. Obviously, as we said last week, 2 weeks from now, not next week, but the week after, is Memorial Day weekend. We are taking that week off. If you follow us along on Twitter, I tweeted out earlier that next week we're not hitting elves, but we're talking the elves. I was thinking like we're hitting elves hardcore, but I didn't want to make it seem like we were, inflicting any sort of violence on the poor little elves. But yeah, we're gonna be showing the style guide that Daybreak Games has shown for their elves in Norath. Talk a little bit about the history of elves and fantasy in general. And then maybe talk a little bit about elves and other video games and how they relate to the elves of Norath. It should be exciting if you like elves. If you don't like elves, it's probably because they've done something to you to make you feel smaller than them.
I see what you did there.
Right?
I got it.
Okay, so I've roleplayed elves before, and that's like my favorite is like either the humble brag or the where it sounds like they're giving you a compliment, but it's like, wow, I didn't think someone of your intellect could figure that problem out. So it's like a
backhanded
There's
compliment.
a word for that. There's a word for that, and it's called girl mean.
Yeah. So one, yeah, I've got a little elf mindset to me because I've roleplayed an elf before, and I've watched. I've been marathoning Defiance lately, and I don't know. There's the race in the Defiance television show that are basically space elves, and they're like my favorite type of evil, where they're manipulative and they're all about like respect and yeah. So next week.
Real quick, just a side question. Has watching Defiance ever made you want to actually pick up and play the game Defiance?
I did it last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I've got multiple screens here. So what I did was
were you watching the show on?
I was watching the show, and I was getting a little frustrated with Landmark, and that's one of the things that I've learned about myself. That Landmark is different from other video games that I've played in that, like, if I'm not in a building mindset, like I need to back out of Landmark. I can't build. I need to find a nice, safe, comfortable place where I can artistically express myself, and that's what I use for Landmark. And when I'm not in that mind frame anymore, then like I play other video games. And so I was watching Defiance on one screen and playing Landmark on the other, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go play Defiance. And like yeah, it's perfectly fun, like first-person shooter MMO. It's got like a nice television series to go along with it.
Sweet.
So next ECast news. The patch is only a couple of days old. It's like what, 2 days old now. So we are sure that we will come across other like topics or issues or problems or neat little things that we have found in Landmark over the next week or two. So if we don't talk about it on this show, have no fear. We'll probably look into it later. Like, this is just our first, like, oh my god, we've been in the game for like 2 days. What's like is slapping us in the face and saying, look at this, this is cool. So that's it for ECast News. You guys got anything else?
Or, look at this, this is broken.
Oh yeah, because we've run into quite a few things that's like, oh my god, this is broken. Damn, Landmark update. So the first thing, and Lucy brought this up, and I think that like once she brought it up, I was like, oh my god, she's right. The 48-hour head start that we were going to get when we bought the Founders Pack. It was part of like the one of the incentives for you to buy into the game early was so that you would get the head start. And like obviously that brings up the question, well, does that mean that there's going to be another wipe coming and that we'll get the head start opportunity between now and the next wipe going into like the open beta or the live launch, one of the two?
A guildmate suggested that, or said that she saw something on the forums where they said that before open beta there'll be like a wipe, but not like a character wipe, just like a claim wipe. But why?
See, yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me either, because that means that you get to keep all of the achievements that your character has earned. And
I see one pro. Trailblazers who have been in the game already know the best spots now and know where to go, rather than just getting a list of biomes and being like, oh, maybe I want this and this. You can actually be like search the islands and be like, this is the spot that I'm running to. So I guess that's a good point, and I'm glad that they're giving us a heads up, but why wasn't it now?
Well, and they might throw in more islands, because they can, like, not just more surfers, but like more islands, so that there's more, I don't want to say interesting shapes, but the coastlines and all the harbors and mountaintops, they can throw in a couple more islands, and that adds in like a, you know, uncountable number of more valleys and stuff like that for us to go find and search for, like the one that looks like our spot for, oh my god, this is a great building location. So yeah, we're gonna keep our eyes out for the head start opportunity, and obviously I mean, Dorkish is saying that there's going to be a claim wipe, but as soon as we see like, or as soon as somebody sends us like an official like statement like regarding that, we'll let you guys know. I watched the Landmark live, and I remember them talking about something going on like. See, I didn't have enough time to write that down, because I remember they were talking about how that this they have to do an updated blueprint or just do a new blueprint, because almost everything that they set out to accomplish is now accomplished. And they were like, but we don't want you guys to interpret this as like being close to the open beta, even though beforehand it was like the road to open beta. So right around that time in the video, they were talking about like wipes and what that might mean. So we'll have to go back and listen again. All right, so claims and building. Lucy, you didn't get your ideal building location, right?
Are we skipping new biomes?
Oh no, nope, we're not. The new biomes. I've only seen the deciduous one. I haven't had the opportunity to go run around in the volcanic one.
The volcanic one is really cool. It's got like, first of all, as soon as you like walk into it, like the screen darkens or the sky darkens a little bit, and it feels like I don't know how they did it, whether it was particle effects or just like environment keys or whatever, but it feels like hot. Like it feels hot when you step in there, and it has all these cool like glowing plant. Like I mean, the other biomes have glowing plants, but these ones are kind of new and interesting. So I think it's Nomad's Crown, and there's another one underground that I don't remember what it is, but I know that there's Nomad's Crown on the surface, and I was having fun running around chopping all of the things that sparkle.
Yeah, see, but I heard people both. Actually, I'll take that back. You're the only person I've heard compliment the lighting in the volcanic one. Most of what I was seeing was people complaining about the lighting, and that goes. Like, and I still complain about the lighting a little bit, because in Landmark, like, even when I was in the jungle biome building, as soon as the sun sets, like, I can't build. Like, even with the light stone, it's like, it's too, you know, when I'm squinting to look at my monitor, it's like, no, I can find something else to be doing, and I just have to wait for the server to, like, reset the clock and come back to day, you know, to dawn, and then I can start building again. And it kind of throws me off a little bit.
You can stack light stones. You can stack a light stone, a greater light stone, and bottled moonlight to give yourself even more light. Mm-hmm. And a lot of builders will just set up like spotlights or lights on their claims so that they can see when they're building. Yeah. Which is kind of like, I mean, artificial light, but you know, whatever. Well, I actually really like the volcanic darkness.
It would be cool to build like some sort of item that you could equip that was basically like a floodlight, like over your head.
That like just only worked on your claim, so that it's not like super broken in caves.
Terraria had that. It was like a little orb of light that followed you, and it lit everything up as you went through. So like you didn't need to have torches in caves. You could just go through, and it's like, yeah, it's all light down here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I managed to get a pretty cool spot on a jungle biome on basically a mountaintop looking over an arbor, and we'll talk about my claim a little bit later because I made an oopsie.
What other underwater biome looks too cool. The plants are super interesting. I wish you could harvest some, but
and what's really cool is because they made I don't know if this is new or what, but the underwater biome, it comes right up to the shore sometimes. It seems like, because I've seen like starfish encrusted rocks. And that seems new to me.
It's just low tide. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, low tide. Right.
The only complaint I have about the biomes isn't about the surface biomes. They're all really... I love the surface biomes. It's actually the underground deciduous biome. Everything looks waxy. And everything's like shiny and like reflect... I don't know. It seems weird to me. What biome is this? The deciduous underground in the caves, like literally everything looks waxy. And granted, I'm not an artist. I am not a game designer. I'm not sure exactly what they're going for, but it almost looks oceanic. Like it's got like, I don't know. It just felt oceanic to me, but.
Meanwhile, I think that, and I don't know if it's just because this is a new biome and so people are seeing it for the first time, but like this deciduous above ground biome is probably one of the best that they've had. And that's saying a lot because the old growth forest looked really good too. But I think that added layer of the autumn colors really made that biome like stand out and look incredible.
I'm a huge fan of birch trees. I think they're absolutely some of the prettiest trees that you can find in the forest. And I absolutely love the deciduous biome.
Caeleste loves birch trees. They're probably one of her favorite too. All right, so talking about claims in building. Lucy, you got near where you wanted to build your claim, but you didn't get on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was at work when the servers went up, so yep. I had to wait until I got home. But a lot of my guildmates got on and like claimed spots, and then we did like the claim shuffle, so they grabbed some things, and I have an alt account that I use to her claims just get donated as a guild build, basically. And so I don't have to use my personal claims to do that because I do like building too. So we shuffled things around and we're good. We actually settled on Courage Winding Creek. I absolutely love it. The hub is like there's a huge swath of water right through the middle and the hub is right there and it's absolutely perfect for a port town. And what we're thinking about doing is actually connecting each other's claims with just a dock at the end. So like RP wise, you could like take ferries and boats and everything to all these different places that are within Sealand, but kind of spread out. So we're excited about starting to build.
That's one of the things I did. Is there was a harbor that came in and it kind of did a curve, and so it created a natural peninsula with a bit of a hilltop on top of the peninsula. And so my main claim was right down on there. And then Caeleste is over on the other side of the shore, on the other side of the harbor. And then some other people grabbed around us. But I'm guessing that everybody's got the same thing in mind, that this is going to be like a nice little harbor community. They reduced the number of servers down from, I don't know, there was like 6 or 7, and now they're down to 4. And I guess that if you don't have a population to support more servers than that, there's no reason to run them up. It does make the current, like, all of the islands and all of the servers feel a little bit more crowded, but I'm going to guess that has more to do with new shiny stuff than it does with actual population. I expect it to thin out. I don't know if you do as well, Lucy or Flatus.
Yeah, I think people will eventually kind of wander away if the game still isn't giving them something that they're looking for, which it might not. I mean, it's a sandbox. A lot of people aren't really prepared for what that means. And they're looking for, content fed to them regularly, which is completely understand, as we've all basically been raised on theme park MMOs. But I really, really hope that it doesn't get too crowded. Like, I know that they can add servers as they go, and it's easier to add servers than take them away, because everybody's like, oh, but I lost my spot, and I had the best spot, and all this other stuff. But I was really sad, because I'm like, well, now I'm not going to get the spot that I want.
Yeah.
Happens.
So, you had just talked about the new shape with basically a river or a large waterway going through the middle of the island. That's kind of a new island shape. Other than that, though, the islands are really so big that I don't even notice how much they've changed. Like, it looks much different from like the bird's eye view or the satellite view looking down. But when you get right down to it, I don't notice that's like you'd have to connect like you had done many claims together to realize the full potential of these different landscapes. Because I think that if you're just looking, even the mega claims that you can get now with like 24 different spaces all connected to one another, even then that mega claim just does not fully realize the different landscape. It doesn't see it. It doesn't feel like that's big enough.
I think it basically, what it really did was gave us hubs near water.
Oh.
Whereas before, you didn't have that. That's
right, because they were right in the
thing.
middle. And I guess that's kind of cool, because when they went into the closed beta and they did the wipe, it was like everybody wanted to be around the central hub, because that allowed them to build quicker and travel quicker, because they had access to the things that were at the Spire, I think is what they call it, the Spire hub, whatever.
Yeah, I suppose being near the hub isn't that big of a deal anymore.
Especially they removed the cooldown of your teleporter now to nothing, right? So you can teleport anywhere you want to go.
I think the reason they did that is they put little spires
Mm-hmm.
along the surface as well. Because I ran out a little bit further than one of my claims, and I used the portal shard, and it took me to a little portal, a little hub that you can click on and then discover, and it was on the surface, and I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize that right away. But once once I did my first teleport to the Spire Hub, and it didn't take me to the center, it took me to a little one off to the side without any crafting materials there. I was like, oh, this is kind of new, kind of cool. Had I known about that, maybe it would have changed where I built my first claim, because it would have been nice to have one of those right next door. Not that it would make a huge deal, other than people would see your claim. Like, if you wanted people to see your claim, and you built right next to there, there's like a larger chance that someone would like jump into that location and bam, there it is. They can see it.
But really, I mean, for any events that you hold, for example, I'm thinking RP-wise and event-wise and things like that, they're just going to teleport to your claim from the gallery. So it really doesn't matter.
And if they have you, right, and if they have you as a friend, they'll just teleport right to you. That's and that's the cool thing about the game, is that if you log in for the first time and you want to be to where your friends are at, you're just like, send friend request, teleport to them, and you're there.
Hi, friend.
Right. Well, yeah.
They're like, it's quiet, they don't even know you're on, and all of a sudden you just pop up and they're like, hey.
Well, you have to accept their friend requests. So
if you're already friends, then yeah. I've done that to Tobin. He's just like working on his claim, and I just showed up, and I just like popped up behind him, and he's on stream, and he's just like, I walk up behind him, and I just start waving, and he's just.
So you know what the best thing is being in the middle of an RP scene,
and people dropping in on you,
and have your non-RP friends be like, "Bam! What's up, Lucy?" Nothing. I was just, RPing this person into the guild. It's NBD.
It's fine. So the first major controversy of the new update is the fact that if you, when you put your claim down, there's the buffer zone around it. When somebody else puts their claim, they get a buffer zone around theirs. If their buffer zone extends over the top of where you would like to build your expansion claim connected to your root claim, you can't. Their buffer zone supersedes your connecting to your main zone, which is way different, because back in when they went to the closed beta, that was the first thing we did, is okay, I'm going to build my claim here, you build your claim here, I expand one this way, you expand one this way, and we're practically on top of each other. No more of that.
Zero lot line.
No more of that. And that was, I think that's a huge deal, because one of the things that I constantly hear about is people want more claims, bigger claims, and they want interconnection between the claims so that they can start building massive communities. And this is a step backwards. So there was a step forward in that now you can have up to 24 claims attached to a root claim, which is huge. But it also seems
can you have all 24 attached to one?
I'm up to 20.
Holy crap! Okay, that's huge.
It is. It's way I have so much space, I don't know what to do with it. But the fact that you can't build on top other people have brought it up before. If you wanted to troll someone in the landmark community, as far as I can tell, they're not the type to go out and do this. But the fact that you
are filled with trolls. Wait, oh, sorry. What?
The fact that you could go out and do this is very problematic. I think that they need to I think Daybreak needs to analyze this a little bit better and come up with a better solution.
Well, yes and no. I think a lot of people don't realize, when we first put all our claims down, I don't think anybody realized that it was going to prevent other people from claiming area around them, adding on. So I think anything that happened already has been completely accidental, but I have definitely gotten messages in guild chat being like, Lucy, you just blocked my claim. Can you move your shit?
That's what Caeleste and I did. She did not like where her claim could have been, so I moved one of my claims and she got the spot that she wanted. So yay for teamwork. But if you don't know the person, or if you're they're European and you're West Coast, there's a 10-hour difference between when you're playing. So they're at work while you're playing, and you're at work while they're playing, and you never actually get the chance of being could you move your stuff?
Well, you could send them an in-game mail, or create a giant sign on your claim pointing
Please
to theirs,
move.
being like, just a voxel finger.
I mean, if you could make a voxel wing and point it at their place, but you'd probably get kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
What was if you did it like so unobvious, like it was two like small, medium-sized grain like mills, and then like a big one in the middle. Like nobody knew. Like, oh, those are odd towers. Like that's where I store my hay, and that's my corn silo. Like nobody would know.
Everybody.
Corn silo is the worst euphemism I have ever heard in my entire life.
I was giving an example.
That is the worst.
I would never call it my corn silo. Never. New show title: Corn Silo.
No!
No, not doing it. My only big frustration with that is that it used to be the closest that you could build two claims together, like physically build on them, was the radius of the buffer zone minus 2 expansions. Now it is literally the radius of the buffer. That's as close as you can get. So we also got what was it? 4 templates, 4 starter home templates. Did you put any of them down? Did you fool around with them at all?
I put one down for the achievement, because achievements. But we'll get to that.
Nerd points, right? I get you.
Yeah. But I immediately did, control undo, because I was like, what is this? I guess I just picked a bad one, because I'm not going to say which one it was. It just wasn't my thing.
I
think they're great for people who don't build, or who want to use that as a template to start their own. So I think it's a great creative, springboard, if you want to call it that, for people who are just getting into the game, just seeing how things are done, that they can use that template to start thinking about, what they want to do, or just decorate it, or whatever. I think it's great for them.
This is what I did. I put down one of the starter homes, and I did something else, so I couldn't just go and undo it. Or I don't know. The fact is, maybe I just didn't think to undo it, because that would have been smart. What I did was I deleted it. I controlled selected everything and hit the control delete, and that leaves the props behind. I don't know if you knew that or not. So when you throw down your first building, it comes with the 2 work stations, the forge and so that's how I got them. I didn't build them. I put down my the starter template, deleted it. It left the props behind, and then I put the forge and the other craft station into my inventory, and it was like, oh wow, I didn't have to make this. It just gave it to me. I used the tower, I put it down, and I liked the look of it, and I wanted to use it, but for my design, whatever, it's too short and it's too squat. It's very, it's over a half a claim wide at the base of a tower, and for me, that's just like, well, that's way too big for what I want to build. But other than that, it's beautiful.
So what you're saying is it was sort of a little bit too chode-like for you?
If you want to go there.
You could just, cut off the top and then move it up and then
there's a spiral staircase that goes up on the inside of it, and so I didn't want to try and figure out how to get the spiral staircase from the base all the way up to the top. As I said, it's incredible. It's got, as you're walking up, there's windows going up, following along the stairs on the inside of it. I also put down the slate building. I think it was just called a slate via, and that was what gave me a little bit of inspiration for the layering my textures a little bit, so that I had I did a brick, and then I did a slate brick on the inner one, so that when I cut it away, it was different textures and different colors. So I think that you're right, that it does allow people to see a building, to maybe learn about design or textures more, but I didn't use either one of them. Even though I thought that they both looked good. So free materials, building with free materials. It's great because it allows me to not have to spend the first 3 or 4 hours in the game digging up dirt and digging up stone so that I can build. I will say that. It is pretty nice.
I have gone from, oh my god, what are you doing, to, I don't know how I feel about this. So, progress.
Yeah. Somebody asked about the 20 claims. I want to talk about that a little bit later on because I did have to buy them from the Station Cash store, and there was a little bit of a problem buying them from the Station Cash store. And I want to talk about all of the expansion claims all at once, so that it's all, all done at once. But trust me, I'm coming back to it. Well, that was it for claims and building. The next
templates.
We talked. Yeah. I
tried putting down one of my templates, and even though it uses mostly free materials now, but there were some that I didn't have built yet, and there were some props, and it wouldn't place it. Like before, if you didn't have what it needed, it just wouldn't place those things.
Right, and it would still put it down.
It was a little frustrating for me.
Well, no, I thought that props were going to be going out of your inventory and into a prop palette. I didn't have enough time to play around with props, and two, I wasn't building with a lot of props. I was building with voxels, so I didn't have a lot of props to begin with. But the fact that, like, as I just said, that when I deleted the starter template, it left all of the props behind, and I had to pick them up and put them into my inventory. And I have this tiny little inventory that I can carry around on my person, and I thought that the props were going to go on a prop palette so that they weren't in our inventory anymore.
You have to place them, and then right-click them, and then hit dismantle or something like that.
Is it dismantle?
It's something like that. It's like, I don't remember what the word is, but it's like it basically is like take it apart for components or whatever, and then it goes into your prop palette.
I think that it should just, you undo it and bam, it goes right into a prop palette. It should do it automatically for you. Especially that since you can create the prop without any sort of, you don't have to be at the crafting station to create it. You shouldn't have to go through multiple steps just to get it out of your inventory. Just like, I put it down, it's a torch, I don't want the torch anymore, I want to get rid of it. Just give me back some raw materials.
You can select the area, like if you have a bunch of props, you can select the area and hit the delete key to get them to go into the prop palette. You can't hit, like, there's a specific key that you have to hit instead of just, like, deleting them with the thing, the delete tool, because that will delete props too, I think. But there's a special way to do it, and then there's a special, like, right-click to put them back into the prop palette rather than sending them to your inventory.
The only reason you would want props in your inventory to begin with is because you were going to trade them, right? I would rather go through multiple steps in game to trade with someone than have to manage my inventory. I don't think that they should ever go into your inventory, period, no matter what. The only reason they should go into the inventory is if you're trading, because that's the only time you need them as an inventory item. And let me go through the multiple step process to trade with someone, because that is an infrequent process compared to the frequent process of, like, picking stuff up. It should just, like, I understand that there, like, now I'm hearing that there are ways to get it so that it doesn't show up in your inventory. But the bottom line for a new player, or a player like me who's like, I don't know what's going on, just don't put it in my inventory. I don't need it there. I don't want it there. It does nothing there but take up space.
Yeah, when I first logged in, and I had all this stuff from, like, alpha and, all of my what do you call my rare item codes and stuff like that back when they were doing the SOE Insider thing. All like my inventory was literally overflowing.
Right. Like I logged in and I had like 5 or 6 different outfits that I had earned. I had 2 flags and a trophy, and I'm like, ugh.
Though one of the flags wasn't actually a flag, but we'll get to that too.
That too. So you want to go to that, or we have these nerd points that we're big fans
I
of?
really want to talk about the nerd point.
The achievement system got a massive overhaul. Like, not just it's the most redone massive system that they wow. It is much better than it was the earlier system. Like, the earlier system took you all of 15 minutes to do, and 10 minutes of that was looking for a monster to kill. 5 of them. 5 monsters to kill.
We're just running around, hello, monster! No!
So,
I'm made of delicious meat. You should nibble on me. That was awful. Why did I say that? I'm sorry, Internet.
You're welcome, Internet.
I'm just gonna hide now.
We're gonna be banned from Twitch.
So
For that?
Oh, come on. Were you on the show 2 weeks ago when I took off my headset and was like, I don't know what's going on?
We've been doing this for almost 2 years. I've not been kicked off Twitch yet. I've said terrible things.
So
I don't know why they give me a microphone. I'm sorry, guys.
Listen, they haven't kicked me off yet, so you're fine.
They've created 5 or 6 different categories for achievements now. Each one of those categories has a very deep progression to it that you can go through. I would say that in any sort of criticism of the achievement system is that it's not quite intuitive to find out where you're at in progress, and what the next one to work on is. Like, it took me a while to figure out that when you achieved an achievement, that sounds a little bit redundant, but when you achieved an achievement, it stamps the date you achieved it on the center of it, and on the other ones, it tells you how many points they're worth. And that's like the only visual indicator of what you have accomplished and what you can still accomplish. I would like to see. I'm going to go to a Warcraft comparison. Warcraft sorts them automatically. The ones that you've achieved are on the top. The ones that you haven't achieved are on the bottom. They're colored differently so that the ones that you have not achieved are not necessarily grayed out, but they're not exactly highlighted. And then the ones that you have achieved are like, bam, nice and colorful, and they say what date you earned them on. So that's what I'm used to seeing, and so that's where it becomes really easy to be like, okay, I want to know what achievements I have earned, which ones I need, I could work on if I so chose to, and I just like, okay, scroll down and click on it, and bam, it pops up and it tells me what I need to do.
It would be nice if there was a filter just to like hide achieved already.
Right. Where you can sort and be like, show me the ones I have achieved, show me all the ones I can achieve but have not yet.
And I'm sure that these types of things are coming. It's like literally 2 days into the patch, and we are still in beta, so I'm sure it's coming. I just would like to see it.
Is there a tracker button for achievements? Like, you can have it pinned up and you can kind of... Oh, cool.
Yeah. And if you're trying to make something, if you're trying to craft like your sounder, right? Like your ore sounder and your cave sounder, you need like 150 of one thing and 150 of the other thing. You can tell the UI to track what you need to complete those, and it pins it up in that same window as your achievements, so that you can, like, over on the corner of your screen, you just look over and you'd be like, oh, okay, I need 5 more of these and 6 more of these, and I need to kill 10 mobs, and bam, this is my session, my play session. I did not get a chance to upgrade any of my weapons or any of my harvesting equipment. Lucy, did you get the opportunity to?
I did. I have slight complaint. I don't know why there are only achievements for upgrading the normal tools, like the normal pick and the normal axe. So, for example, if you are not a trailblazer of any kind and you log in, you have to use the hewers something, and you have to use the adventurer's axe and the adventurer's pick to start with. You have to, because you don't have the founder's pickaxe. But when you upgrade your founder's pickaxe, it actually doesn't upgrade the achievements for upgrading a pick or an axe. You have to make the original ones, which, for me, as someone who chases after those fake internet points, I'm gonna have to go do that, and I don't want to. I mean, I want to, but I don't want to.
Because it's redundant, right? I don't like the achievements that are like, well, you wouldn't do this any other way or for any other reason, because this is like literally the least, you already have a piece of equipment that's better than this, but we're going to make you make it anyway. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, one of the things that I didn't like them doing, and maybe it was because I was doing the achievements wrong, is the line tool and the selection tool and like the smooth tool. Like it felt like I earned an achievement and it gave me the items, and then I earned another achievement and it gave me a second copy of the items. And then I did it a third time, and it was like, guys, I have these tools already. Stop giving them to me, because I know I deleted 2 smooth tools out of my inventory.
I did not have that happen.
Now, did you go, when you sat down and started playing the game, did you go in just to build, or did you go in to accomplish the achievements in order?
The first time, I logged in to get my claim.
Okay.
And I basically was just... See, it's hard to say, because as a guild leader who was trying to herd kittens, it was basically me just answering questions in guild chat, inviting people, friending people, putting down my claim and stuff like that. But eventually, when I did have space to breathe, I did all the building ones quickly, because it really irritates me to try to do anything without the selection tool. So I was just like, just give me the tools. Like, just give me the tools.
That's what happened to me, is that I didn't go achievement hunting right away. I wanted to get into building. And like I was saying, that's because like when I'm in the build mindset, it's like a very artistic space, and I have to get building right now, or else I'll lose the moment. And I got to the point where I needed the paint tool to paint some stuff, and I didn't have it. And so I'm like, oh crap, I have to do these achievements to get the paint tool. And so I earned the achievements out of order and ended up with multiple copies of tools in my inventory. And I'm like, well, that does not seem convenient. Like, this is not ideal.
I accidentally earned an achievement for being a decorator by going on somebody's claim and clicking on a chest that they had. I'm sorry, if you leave your chests open to strangers to click on them, I'm gonna rifle through your shit. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna take anything. I'm not a thief. Though if you ask anyone in Skyrim when I play, apparently I am. But I'm not gonna take your stuff, but I'm gonna click on it. And then I accidentally achieved the you can decorate. I'm like, okay.
I can steal people's stuff. I can't. Yeah.
But later on, I figured it out that once you do a certain achievement, it gives you a chest in your inventory, and you're supposed to put it down on your claim.
Oh, right.
So I had the chest in my inventory. I was like, where the hell did this come from? And then I was like, now I understand why I got that achievement.
That's how I got the achievements out of order, is because like you would get a tool and you could put it on your action bar and you could use it, and then you would get an achievement that's like, put this action on your action bar and equip it. And I had been using it, and I'm like, I'm confused by what I'm supposed to do, because there it is. But eventually I figured it all out. So the free items that we got, I built my ore sounder and my gem sounder. I didn't get a free one. So I didn't get any gear for free by earning achievements.
Some of the complaints that I heard, which I don't know if I personally personally feel this way, but you got the Builder's Bauble, which used to take a lot of mats. We got the Pulverizer. I honestly think that they're quality of life things, and it's not a big deal. Like, the Builder's Bauble, you're only on your claim. Who cares?
And that is, actually, I think that's a big thing, because one of the first things that I would tell people who need to go, like, you need to go out and harvesting, like, for example, I needed to get 100 marble so that I could build gargoyles to put on my castle for, and before I could get into the game and start harvesting it, I'm like, oh my god, I remember what it was like to go harvesting without an ore sounder and without the mineral sounder. I've got to make those first. And that's one of those things, like, if a new person was coming into the game, they might spend like 5 or 6 hours out harvesting when they could have had those tools in 15 minutes if they knew they needed them. And that's one of those things, like, you know, I hope that the achievements are designed in such a way that it steers them to, like, before you go harvesting, make sure you're equipped for it by having, like, these 2 items here, and maybe upgrade your pick 1 or 2 times, because if you don't, you're gonna waste a lot of time that you could save.
I actually didn't get the 2 sounders from the achievements. I got the cave sounder, but not the other 2.
Right, I had to make them myself. And that's why I was like, I don't know if you get them for free, because I didn't look that far down on the achievement progressions. But if those achievements aren't there, then I hope that Daybreak is creating the achievements in such a way that it steers you into, like, maybe you should build these first before you go out harvesting, because they're huge time savers. Like, not just a little bit of time saving. I'm talking like 15 minutes of work would save you hours out in a cave. Okay, do we want to talk a little bit more about achievements before we talk about the next big, huge topic?
Mostly what I want to say in summation is that I like what they're doing. I can't wait to see what else they do, because I know this is just the first iteration of the new system, and it's beta. They're still testing. Give them time to upgrade and fix things and add more and stuff like that. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I blew through all this stuff in like a day. I'm like, well, yeah, okay. But not everybody's going to do that.
I don't think
they're going to add more.
Yeah, I don't think you can blow through all the achievements in a day. Maybe, but because there's some, like, place 1,000,000 voxels, and it's like, okay, that does not seem like...
A lot of people have turned all of their templates into free materials. They just painted everything, and you can do it fairly quickly if you have a large build.
Control paste, control undo, control paste, control undo.
Or
okay.
Yeah, or just
Okay, maybe. It actually, like, at some point later on, we'll talk about the achievement system in Landmark and how it may look in EverQuest Next. That is what really has me excited. So, next up, we have a second race of humans in the game, large humans. I know Caeleste was not, like, super thrilled with the large humans. I myself was like, whatever. Small humans is where it's at.
Pentapod, if you're watching, thank you so much for tweeting out that picture of the large shiny butt suit. I was so happy. It, like, literally made my day. I was at work and I was all bummed because I couldn't get in, and I was like, aww, big shiny butt. But that being said, I did not make a large human. I know that some of my guildmates were going to, and then were like, oh, I don't quite like this about him, I don't quite like that about him. But I know a lot of people actually do really like him too. So I think it's a mix, sort of. I think it's a mixed bag.
I just like the idea of having more frames to work with, more body frames, small humans, tall humans, short humans, wide humans. You know, they said that it's going to be a human game, so we'll probably never see more races in the game. But instead of adding in more races, if they could really diversify the amount of humans that we have, or the body shapes that we had involved, would be cool.
Tiny humans.
That's me.
Please, I want to be with.
Next up, they redid the items and equipment. I, again, did not get to spend any amount of time looking at items and equipment because I am not the outfit guy to begin with, and all I did was build. I spent about 6 hours building, which is huge for me. That's quite the time to put into Landmark, just building.
I want to say one thing, which is one thing that I was really, really disappointed about that they took out, was the recipes that you could get. I really liked the fact that if you spent your time, you know, out there adventuring and put in the treasure hunting for it, you could get outfits or armors that people might not have, and you could make them for them or trade for them. I really liked that dynamic, and I'm sure it's early, and they might bring that back. I hope so, because I was like, oh, you can craft the Boots of the Zephyr now. I wanted to find them again, but so I'm a little upset about that, but I'm sure they're going to add in rare items that we'll find later on. I just want to get to that point. You still can get really cool appearance outfits from mobs, though, so that's kind of neat. I was really excited when I killed a mob, and I was like, oh, I got the gunslinger's outfit!
Yeah, when I go, I need to grab Flatus. Grab Flatus with his sword and shield, and we'll go out and mow everything down.
Yay!
Right? We'll kill all the things.
All the things are gonna die. Let's do it.
I really didn't notice the difference between the weapon, how you only get the 2 ability weapon at first. I didn't even really feel it. Like, I can't wait until I upgrade my bow so I can get that, like, wall of fire that comes out. But I didn't really miss it all that much when I was killing the low-level mobs.
Yeah,
so
when I was, when I first went around in combat in Landmark, I just simply had the Adventurer's Sword. It had no shield. It was just, you had 1 charge and you had 1 slash, and I never felt like I needed the 3rd ability that they added. But once they did add it, I used it regularly because it was like, oh, free armor. I can fight more often and I don't have to retreat as much. So it was like, whatever. The surface caves, though, there's no mobs in those, right? So people
there's no mobs, there's no chests, there's no ruins. And the idea there is so that you can't claim somebody else's ruin and then template it.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
I actually had a bug where my cave ruin was on the surface on the island where I was. And you could go out and you could, like, dig it up or pulverize it so it was gone, but it would come back. But thankfully, it was within the buffer zone, so nobody could claim it and template it. But I was like, I don't want anybody to template my ruin. Like, I built that.
You built that? I built that.
I've seen that. I made this.
Copy and paste, and you're like telling all, you're like, bro, check out this thing I built. Oh, dude, those tents are awesome.
My ruin did have tents.
Yeah.
Somebody new coming into the game, like when this game goes live, someone's gonna be able to template your thing and be like, bro, check out these things I built. And they're just like, but and you're gonna walk by and be like, but I did it.
I made that.
That's mine. Those are my things.
So if you have participated in swap meets, which I was doing regularly, every once in a while you will see something tweeted or like, oh, that's mine. Or like that piece of it was like, I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
but if I give it away, I think it's cool that they're using it. So
I use a lot of the starter.
Really.
I use a lot of the starter template circles, and again, like, it's very hard working with circles. And maybe I should just go back to trying to build square towers because blocks are easier to build with. But I don't know.
yeah, there's this whole. I think they've made it redundant now, where you have to have a claim under the surface and then paint with air and like all this. It's a whole thing. I can show you how to do it at some point, but it's like a whole thing.
Hey, I tweeted out. It's like it's a big tall tower. And now you've upgraded your equipment too. So you're saying that it's much easier now to upgrade your. See, I like the way when you used to have to get your epic quality upgrades and like you could hoard them and you could. I love the idea of it because suddenly it was like the people that had those could like there could be an economy around that. It's like, oh, I see that you don't have an epic pick. I could fix that for you, but it's gonna cost you. And there's that negotiation. And so like. Making upgrading easier, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like at one point, having the new players being able to upgrade their equipment is probably a good thing. It's a quality of life improvement for them. On the other hand, it like limits the economy that can develop in the game when everybody can like easily get all of the good stuff.
I actually had the people who I gave my beta keys to come to me when they wanted to make a new pick because I had the Mastercraft bracer and I had a better chance of getting. And so, like I said it before, I really feel the loss of that way to play. Like that Mastercraft bracer that gave you that tiny little edge to make legendary picks and stuff like that. I miss that way to play. I hope that we get something like that back. I'm hoping that this is still crafting in early stages and that we'll see stuff like that again, because I want to be a master crafter. I want to be somebody who has those rare recipes, who can trade for other things with those.
I would love the ability to the first hour we've been talking about this, I keep lamenting the fact that I'm just not a builder. I would love to be able to I have something you want, you have building skills I want, let's come up with something. I can design and I can imagine and I can draw a napkin schematic or outline of what I think would look cool. But then when it comes to actually jumping into the game, I just can't do it. I can't do it well. But to be able to okay, you've got something I want, I've got something you want, let's work something out. I would love to be able to do that. But at this moment, there's nothing. So that's where I feel like the game is kind of lacking that economy that brings the players together to need one another. And equipment and items are like the core of that economy, like that whole barter system.
Item upgrading. It's actually I upgraded my founder's pickaxe, and I was looking at the different upgrades, and it's actually I did the math. It's 4.8 times easier to mod your pick than to make a new one. Sorry, kind of a nerd.
Now, what math did you use to decide that it was 4.8?
Okay, so to make the pick, it is like 7,200 smelted druidium or something like that. And then if you look at the mod, it's I took the mod number and I divided it by the bigger number, or I took the bigger number and divided all that stuff. And I kept doing it for the different picks, and it's 4.8.
Nice. All right.
I don't know why it's not 5. I don't know why 4.8 works, but I like it and I don't like it. I hated sitting there and farming mats for every a new pick every single time and punching it into that random number generator. But at the same time, I don't mind harvesting either. And it made you have that sense of accomplishment when you're like, I worked for this.
It was nice when you that was my whole idea, was that I had enough of those epic upgrade items in the before the wipe that I was like, they're going to give us weapon and equipment, and I'm just going to have epic gear from head to toe, and I'm just going to walk around strutting my stuff like, yeah, check out my gear, it's epic. But they never, legendary was it, the orange quality one, and they never really gave us that, so it was kind of disappointing in that. I would love to see them go back. So, station, cache, and the marketplace. Well, first off, the expansion claim flags that you had in your inventory when you first logged into the game, they didn't do anything. I'm going to swear, they ain't done shit.
I was clicking on them and I proper nerd raged. I was like, where's my claim? Like, why are they disappearing? Why? I'm wasting so much stuff. Yeah, no, they're just placeholders. They were just telling you. that you had that many expansion slots.
But on the and like I guess I get it, but I totally think that was not the way to do it. If you brought up your claim management, it told you how many root claims you could have out of maximum, and it could tell you how many expansion claims you could have out of maximum. That's all I needed to see. So the fact that it was like, you... And then the fact that you could go to the center hub and build them no cost, I'm like, why can't... It's like, why? It doesn't make... it didn't entirely make a whole lot of sense to me, because it reminded me of the whole plot palette thing. Like, if I can build it without a crafting station, without materials, don't make it take up inventory space to begin with. And two, it's like, if it's that simple to make an add-on claim, why do I need to have a physical inventory represented thing to begin with? Just let me, open up the claim management window and be like, add an expansion claim and click it down. Bam, done.
In chat, Landmark Explorer just said they need a different icon, and I was actually going to bring that up. Like, if they even just gave it, like, a different color border, you'd be like, wait a minute, this is different than a flag.
And then...
So, that brings me to my point. Before the wipe, I was absolutely 100% planning on purchasing a starter pack. Like, the biggest one that they offered, because you got those claim flags, which if you, after alpha, or even in alpha, each wipe, you had to make claim flags. So your ability to claim good land was also, sort of factored in how fast you could harvest the materials for those claim flags. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to buy the starter pack, I'm going to have it right in my inventory, and bam, I can just claim a spot. Then they just gave you claim flags. So I am really, really glad that I did not buy a starter pack and effectively waste my state. I mean, it's not a waste. That you do get other things, you get outfits and things like that, but for what I wanted it for, it would have been a waste of station cash.
And then there's me. How do I explain what I did? Alright, so just like Lucy, I wanted to buy expansion claims because I wanted a large claim to begin with when I logged into the game. And when you buy the expansion claim, it puts 2 different items into your inventory, and if you are not incredibly observant, you might not understand what they mean. And so it throws through these inventory things in my inventory that look like the claim flags. And the first time I bought 5 of them, and I was thinking to myself, that makes me have a good size claim, is that I was thinking that, like, okay, and I'm going to put it down, I'm going to put it down, I'm going to put it down, but it didn't. I couldn't do it. And when I went and looked in the marketplace, I think I typed in something like expansion claim, and I clicked buy before I really read the details. And so I'm like, oh crap, I must have bought the wrong thing. I thought that, like, okay, I bought the flag to claim a flag, an expansion, but I didn't actually buy the ability to have more expansions. Like, I thought that they were 2 different things. One was the flag to add the expansion, and the second thing was the ability to have more expansion claims. And I thought I bought the flag to claim it and not the ability to claim more. So I bought 5 more. And that's when I figured out I did the wrong thing. And now I can have up to 20 mega claim slot. Huge. Epically huge. Like, you would think that 20 is huge. Which brings me up to my second point about the expansion claims, is that it is not intuitive. Like, you think that if you have a root claim, you can expand in any of the cardinal directions, and then as long as your claim, you're in an expansion claim, you can expand off of that as long as it's attached to the root, so that you can have that one buffer border around your entire claim. But it's not like that. They've got some weird sort of rules that I have not yet figured out. But, like, what I had to do was, like, claim an expansion area, and then expand next to that expansion claim, and then delete the one that I had just put down because it wasn't where I wanted it, but its neighbor was. So I think I spent like 30 minutes trying to get the right claims that I wanted in the right area. And so finally I'm like, just forget it, I don't need any. I'll just do it. For one, I will never build that much to begin with, and two, it was too frustrating, and I didn't want to deal with it. But my thing is that if I put down a route, I should be able to claim one expansion claim border around that entire route without having to deal with a whole lot of gimmicks and deleting and placing claims to get the ones that I want. Period. Especially when I spent real money to get it. And I want to make like a video of showing like what I see when I'm trying to claim a spot, and like screen cap it and like post it to the forums and be like, listen, I spent real money on this. I kind of feel like I should get what I paid for. I should get what I thought that I was getting. So that's my real claim on, or my real complaint about the marketplace items. They're not intuitive like what you're buying, and two, I can't use them the way that I feel like they were meant to be used. Sorry, I ranted on a little bit about that.
That's okay. I spent all my station cash. I blew all of my money on soda pop and candy, and I bought max inventory, personal, and vault. I bought them all of them.
That sounds like I've been complaining about not having enough inventory space, and you would think that like maybe Tanlin, maybe you should have bought more inventory space instead of more claim slots that that you said that like you're probably never ever going to build on them. But whatever.
Oh, I also bought 2 new outfits.
Yeah, I think Caeleste was looking at the. She saw someone run by that had an outfit that she wanted, and she wanted to bring up the Station Cash store to see how much it was and what it was called. But for a little while, yesterday or the day before, the Station Cash store was down. So I don't know if she ever got the opportunity to buy it or what it was called. I just know she was like, "Ooh, that looks pretty."
I actually, I had some of those builder's chests or whatever in my inventory when I first logged in. For the mats that you have bought or purchased or got through the the Station Cash, Daybreak Cash. Cards.
Cash.
Oh, right. That's right. They've renamed it. It's not Station Cash anymore. It's
Fly. I wanted to fly on the wall for that choice. I wonder how many hours they sat in a room. We're like, guys, we got to think of a name. I hope it was like 4 hours, and somebody was like, finally like Daybreak Cash, and they're like, done, sold, let's do it. I think Daybreak Bucket worked.
But I actually got 2 outfits out of my builder's chests, which I was really excited to. Or builders, or whatever they're called.
Right. So that we actually covered up the challenges a little bit, because that was buying expansion claims is confusing was one of the challenges that we saw in the game. Inventory overflow, like whoa, early on in the game was a little bit challenging, especially when I felt like things were going into my inventory that didn't belong there. Like I didn't want them there. I still think that making the tools as inventory items is bad. I think that they should just create an action bar and have you unlock them, and have like a spell book that you can open up and be like, okay, I want this spell on this bar, and drag it down, and not have to drag it from your inventory and down. Because again, like I just said, I really don't feel like those are inventory items to begin with. So it's going to be a short show this week. Next week we are coming back talking Elves, all things Elves, and of course,
everything, anything Elves. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion maybe for people. If you have questions or have things to share about Elves, go to the Reddit page. I will put a link in chat again. Share what your thoughts about please share your thoughts about the new Elves on the Reddit page, and if it may spark more questions and discussions for us on the show, and we may quote you and say your name and do fancy things like that. Yay.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring up, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up the wood elves from the Token movie Token cartoon from like the middle of the 70s or 80s, when the elves looked nothing like Legolas. because this modern interpretation of superpowered humans that we call elves is new. So that's it. I'm going to give my two other normal weekly hosts the floor for any final thoughts.
Good update. Still forming opinions on some things, but that's to be expected since I haven't had that much time to play.
Outside of the game itself, it looks cool. I have not had any time because it's been hectic. So to play any game, it's not like it's just I've just chose not to play Landmark. I just haven't had time to play any game really. But I'm interested in hopping back in and creating a large human and seeing what that's about and messing around with things and probably stomp around for 15 minutes, make a mud shack, and take a picture of it, and be like, "Look how terrible this is," and log out. So that's my plan sometime this week. Being horrible at building.
Right.
So that's it, huh? That's it.
Yep. Somebody should. Before we get camped out, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Twitch with us right now and you haven't hit the follow, please do. It really helps us out. It lets us know that we are appreciated. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Stitchers, you can leave us a comment. You can thumbs up us or plus one us. Whatever the case, to give us feedback that you're out there listening, we definitely appreciate it. Somebody want to volunteer and camp us out?
I'll do it. I volunteer tribute. I'm tribute. I'll do it. Camping in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We will see you next week on EverCast show. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.